What if the beloved stars of Little House on the Prairie weren't just actors portraying a wholesome family, but were actually hiding shocking truths about their personal lives, their finances, and the secrets they tried to bury behind the scenes? You won't believe the bizarre bloopers, heart-wrenching struggles, and jaw-dropping confessions that have never been revealed before. Stick around, because what you're about to learn about these iconic stars will change everything you thought you knew about Little House. And the shocking twists behind their legacies will leave you questioning everything. Keep watching. You won't want to miss what happens next. Melissa Gilbert, who brought Laura Ingalls to life, might have seemed like the all-American girl, but her on-set experience was anything but innocent. While the characters Laura and Nellie Oleson fought bitterly on screen, actresses Melissa Gilbert and Allison Arngrim were close friends off-screen. Yet even this friendship couldn't shield Gilbert from some brutal teasing. As Nellie and Percival's romance heated up on the show, Allison Arngrim and Steve Tracy, who portrayed Percival, often exaggerated their kissing scenes just to provoke Gilbert. Imagine being a young teenager, watching two adults deliberately making things as awkward as possible, and you couldn't call cut. It was a playful cruelty that stuck with Gilbert for years, another unseen scar of her early fame. Meanwhile, behind the wholesome facade, the set was practically awash in alcohol. Reports surfaced that the cast and crew knocked back 2 full cases of beer daily, sometimes even 3 on rough days. And at the center of it all was Michael Landon, the show's beloved Pa. Landon, whose off-camera life carried far heavier shadows, would start his mornings with coffee laced with brandy and rarely stopped drinking throughout the day. Yet somehow, he maintained his charming, heroic presence for the cameras. How did he keep such a secret hidden in plain sight for so long? This double life added layers to Landon's legacy, a complicated mix of brilliance, struggle, and resilience that still fascinates fans today. Peeling back more layers, we discover that Michael Landon's very identity wasn't what viewers assumed. While his character embodied strong Christian values, Landon himself came from a very different background. Born Eugene Maurice Orowitz, he grew up Jewish, adopting his stage name to better navigate the unforgiving currents of Hollywood. Landon once explained he felt culturally Jewish, but didn't strictly adhere to any religious doctrine. This duality, acting out one identity while quietly carrying another, was yet another hidden chapter in a life already full of contradictions. Even his signature look had its secrets. Those lush brown curls that seemed to belong naturally to Charles Ingalls, they came from a bottle. Landon's real hair color was a faded, ashy brown. He religiously dyed his hair to maintain his vibrant on-screen image. Under the powerful set lights, an unexpected purple hue often betrayed his secret. Producers had to scramble for professional colorists to fix his hair before the cameras rolled again. It's a reminder that even icons known for authenticity were constantly battling the pressures of Hollywood perfection. Yet for all its sweetness, Little House dared to explore topics that many shows of its era wouldn't touch. Beneath its soft glow, episodes tackled issues like drug abuse, racism, adoption, and disability. Topics that stirred controversy, but also broke ground for television. At a time when most networks played it safe, Little House took bold risks. How did a show so rooted in nostalgia become a trailblazer for uncomfortable truths? It was Landon again, pushing boundaries while balancing mass appeal. Relationships among the cast, however, were not always as harmonious as they appeared on screen. Behind the smiles, Jonathan Gilbert, who portrayed Willie Oleson, was Melissa Gilbert's adopted brother in real life. Their bond eventually unraveled into silence after the series ended. While Jonathan moved on to become a successful stockbroker in New York, Melissa continued in Hollywood, even running for political office years later before stepping away due to health issues. Their broken relationship stands as a quiet tragedy behind the show's enduring legacy, a reminder that fame rarely leaves personal ties untouched. Another surprising truth: Melissa Anderson and Melissa Gilbert, who played Mary and Laura Ingalls, were bitter rivals off-camera. Their feud festered over the 9-year run of the series, sometimes so intense that fellow cast members kept their distance. Imagine spending your formative years locked in constant battle with a co-worker under the public's adoring gaze. A hidden battle few outsiders ever suspected. Yet their professional performances never betrayed the resentment simmering just beneath the surface. Adding to the magic, the town of Walnut Grove wasn't just a fictional backdrop. The real Walnut Grove, Minnesota, still stands today, remote and fiercely proud of its link to Laura Ingalls Wilder's timeless books. Although modern-day Walnut Grove is home to just over 800 residents, its spirit remains a living tribute to the frontier dreams that captivated generations. Beyond the dusty streets of Walnut Grove, real-world romance occasionally sparked among the young actors. The chemistry that audiences loved wasn't always just good acting. There were real feelings, real heartaches, and real entanglements, blending fiction and reality in ways only Hollywood can deliver. Is it any wonder so many fans still wonder whether a faithful remake could ever recapture the original magic? Financially, the legacy of Little House cast members took divergent paths. Michael Landon, with his expanding fame, invested heavily in real estate across Malibu, Beverly Hills, and the Santa Monica Mountains. He was known for his taste in luxury cars, owning classic Rolls-Royces, and later favoring top-end Mercedes-Benz models. His collection of high-end watches, particularly Rolex and Patek Philippe, mirrored his image of rugged sophistication mixed with old Hollywood glamour. Landon also ventured into production, founding his own company to gain creative and financial control over his projects. It was a shrewd move that ensured his wealth continued to grow long after Little House ended. He was known to have comprehensive insurance covering his health, homes, and even career interruptions. A rare but wise foresight among Hollywood stars. Key financial lesson from Landon's journey: control your brand. Invest early and protect your assets meticulously. Meanwhile, Melissa Gilbert's financial road was rockier. Despite her success, she faced mounting debts and tax issues later in life. Lessons in how even early fame offers no guarantee of lasting security. Gilbert's personal investments were modest compared to Landon's, reflecting the instability that can haunt child actors once the spotlight dims. Her story reminds us, wealth management is just as crucial as wealth creation. Melissa Gilbert once thought of Michael Landon as a second father, their bond running deeper than many ever realized. Behind the cameras, their relationship was filled with playful moments and laughter, a rare find in the tough world of Hollywood. But fame has its shadows. When Landon left his wife for Cindy Clerico, a young makeup artist from the set, Melissa felt an overwhelming sense of betrayal, a wound that reopened the old scars left by her own parents' divorce. A bond she once believed unbreakable, shattered overnight. In a moment of anger and heartache, she cut off all contact. Yet time, as it often does, softened those edges. Years later, facing Landon's devastating diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, Melissa put aside the past. She visited him, reconciled their differences, and when he passed away, honored him by naming her son Michael, a reminder that in Hollywood, love and loss are often intertwined, and forgiveness sometimes comes just in time. Even on a set built around conflict, real friendships bloomed in the least expected places. Melissa Gilbert and Allison Arngrim, who played the ferocious on-screen rivals Laura and Nellie, shared a real-life friendship that defied the animosity their characters portrayed. They became inseparable, pulling harmless pranks, having sleepovers, and leaning on each other when the pressures of fame became too heavy. But not all the backstage memories were lighthearted. Melissa Gilbert faced one of her toughest personal challenges when the show demanded she portray Laura's blossoming romance. Only 15 at the time, Melissa had to film her first-ever kiss with Dean Butler, who was already 23. The awkwardness wasn't just professional. It was deeply personal. Uncomfortable with the significant age gap, she confided in Landon. In a rare show of Hollywood compassion, the producers listened, altering the scene to just a gentle kiss on the cheek. It's a reminder that even in the spotlight, personal dignity sometimes wins. Still, the teasing never truly stopped. Allison Arngrim and Steve Tracy, who played Nellie and Percival, took mischievous joy in playfully embarrassing Melissa. Behind the scenes, they exaggerated their romance, staging mock makeout sessions just to watch Melissa squirm. But there was no real scandal behind the laughter. Steve Tracy, a beloved member of the cast, was gay and a fiercely loyal friend. Of course, not every working relationship blossomed into friendship. Melissa Sue Anderson, who portrayed Laura Ingalls, was the exception. Though the cameras showed a tight sisterhood between Laura and Mary, backstage, an icy distance prevailed. Melissa Gilbert later described Anderson as cold and standoffish, accusations Anderson never publicly addressed. The reasons for their discord remain a Hollywood mystery, but rumors suggest Anderson's protective upbringing might have kept her emotionally guarded. Beyond the human drama, the cast was known for their humor and lighthearted pranks, many inspired by Michael Landon himself. In one memorable prank, Melissa Gilbert and Allison Arngrim covered a toilet seat with saran wrap, leaving the unlucky victim howling with surprise. Landon's influence extended far beyond mischief, though. He taught the young cast how to survive in an industry that rarely shows mercy. Family ties on set weren't limited to the fictional Ingalls clan. Jonathan Gilbert, who portrayed Willie Olson, was Melissa's real-life adopted brother. Their bond, once so close, later fractured as adulthood pulled them apart. Melissa Gilbert later admitted that despite their once tight relationship, they grew estranged, another painful reminder that not all childhood connections survive the glare of adulthood. Hollywood shows you can play siblings on screen, but real life writes a different story. And then came the ending, an ending that left fans reeling. Despite its success, Little House on the Prairie ended in a way that no one saw coming. Michael Landon's towering presence behind the scenes had shaped the show for nearly a decade. Yet in the final season, he stepped back to let a new generation shine. Landon directed a staggering 90 of 204 episodes and even crafted the plots for both the pilot and the series finale. Yet, despite all his influence, ratings waned. The magic that had captured audiences' hearts faded away. Even giants in Hollywood can be brought low not by scandal, but simply by the unstoppable march of time. Michael Landon's financial footprint during his lifetime was impressive. Amassing a net worth that hovered near $40 million at his peak, he built a quiet real estate empire. Landon's Malibu estate, perched on the coastline, became a symbol of his success, a place where the Pacific whispered through open windows. He owned a collection of classic cars, favoring sleek, understated luxury vehicles like his prized Mercedes-Benz 600. On his wrist, Landon was often seen sporting Rolex watches, timeless symbols of his enduring Hollywood stature. His investments suggested a keen eye for longevity, and had he lived longer, projections estimate his net worth today could have easily crossed the $100 million mark, driven by syndication royalties and property appreciation. Today, Little House continues to live on, not just through endless reruns, but through the impact it left on its young stars. Melissa Gilbert, for example, saw fluctuating financial fortunes over the years. Once a child star with dreams bigger than Walnut Grove, she weathered the storms of fame, personal battles, and reinvention. Her net worth today sits around $500,000, a figure that reflects both past successes and hard-fought battles. Despite once owning several properties, including a sprawling Michigan home and a cozy Los Angeles retreat, Melissa faced financial setbacks that led to selling off major assets. She's famously driven a modest Ford SUV in recent years, preferring comfort and reliability over flash. And even now, the stories and secrets of the Little House cast keep unraveling. Fans delight in discovering bloopers, like Laura's never-ending pregnancy arc that stretched far longer than human biology allows, or the accidental appearance of Colonel Sanders. Yes, that Colonel Sanders, in an episode where Nellie's restaurant turns into a fast food franchise disaster. Moments like these show that even in a meticulously crafted world, real-life absurdity slips through the cracks. And then there's the unforgettable scene in The Odyssey from Season 5, where Albert faces a terrifying moment, being thrown from a moving train. Viewers holding their breath couldn't help but notice the unintentional comedy. Instead of a struggling actor, it was a lifeless dummy that tumbled from the car, landing awkwardly as a stuntman smoothly rolled downhill. It was a moment that left fans torn between tension and laughter, a bizarre reminder that even drama sometimes can't escape bloopers. Yet amid the earnest storytelling, laughter thrived off-camera. Michael Landon, The beloved patriarch of the show hid a mischievous streak. Rachel Greenbush, who portrayed little Carrie Ingalls, later recounted with a spark in her eye how she and Melissa Gilbert would spend breaks catching frogs by the creek. Their favorite prank? Handing Landon the slimy critters, which he would slyly place in his mouth, only to flash an open grin at unsuspecting crew members, sending shrieks and laughter rippling across the set. It's moments like these that remind us, behind the tears and struggles of the Ingalls family, pure mischief lived and breathed. But the show wasn't immune to curious inconsistencies. Fans noticed noisy tree branches mysteriously appearing outside the girls' upstairs window, in The Monster of Walnut Grove, and the music box. Despite no tree being there otherwise, it was a slip, likely stock footage or a hurried atmospheric touch, that made eagle-eyed viewers question what else had been quietly tweaked. Hidden errors became part of the show's folklore, almost like secrets buried beneath its wholesome surface. Another whimsical blooper? A single quilt. The same pattern of white, with small colorful blocks, mysteriously jumping beds throughout the series. It lay over Olsen's bed one week, Charles Ingalls' parents' bed the next, and even draped over other characters' sleeping quarters. It's as if the quilt had its own secret adventures, threading itself through the lives of Walnut Grove without anyone blinking. Costumes, too, betrayed the passage of real-world time. Caroline Ingalls' wardrobe included bras, even though they weren't invented until 1912. Hairstyles, those flowing perms, spoke more to 1970s glam than 1880s prairie life. And Melissa Gilbert herself admitted that her hair, too long and far too modern, was an ongoing historical oversight. But somehow these inconsistencies only added to the show's endearing charm, a nostalgic canvas where flaws blended into fondness. One jaw-dropping moment of fan devotion came through a Reddit user, fondly nicknamed Gorosaurus Rex, who spent years obsessing over a confusing storyline about Albert. In one movie, it's hinted that Albert passed away. Yet later, the series suggests he grew up to become a doctor. Frustrated but fascinated, Gorosaurus Rex's partner orchestrated a jaw-dropping anniversary surprise, a personalized video from Melissa Gilbert herself. A cheeky twist, Gilbert proposed Albert hadn't just survived. He had returned as a whimsical zombie doctor, forever roaming Walnut Grove. It was a perfect, hilarious nod to the show's occasional chaos. Nothing was more disorienting than the show's grand finale, The Last Farewell. Set in 1901, it was jarring to realize none of the characters had aged appropriately. In real history, Charles Ingalls passed away just a year later, and the children would have matured into adults. The screen seemed frozen in time, faces unchanged, a village untouched by the relentless march of years. It's a visual contradiction that continues to spark debates among dedicated fans. How could so much time pass, yet nothing visibly change? Turning from fiction to reality, Michael Landon's real-life journey reveals a man who carried heavy burdens. Born Eugene Maurice Orowitz. In 1936, Landon faced extraordinary hardships early on. His childhood was marred by constant fear for his mother's well-being, leading to traumatic moments and deep personal struggles. These battles shaped him into a man driven by humor, compassion, and unstoppable ambition, qualities that later defined his on-screen presence. Financially, Landon's trajectory was just as compelling. From modest beginnings, he built an impressive fortune. At the time of his death in 1991, Landon had amassed an estimated net worth of $40 million. His real estate empire stretched luxuriously across Malibu and Beverly Hills, with sprawling estates valued at over $15 million in today's market. Landon favored sleek Mercedes-Benz models, and his wrist often bore Rolex watches, timeless symbols of the success he had carved out of hardship. His investments were smart, diversified into production ventures and insurance policies that shielded his legacy, ensuring that each of his 9 children received between $8 and $10 million. Karen Grassel, the beloved matriarch Caroline, continued working steadily after Little House, appearing in films like Wyatt Earp. Yet despite her iconic status, her net worth remains modest by Hollywood standards, hovering around $500,000, a reminder that fame and fortune don't always walk hand in hand. Melissa Gilbert's financial path, meanwhile, mirrored a roller coaster ride. After conquering television, she bravely ventured into politics in 2016, launching a congressional bid in Michigan. Health challenges cut her campaign short. The effort reflected her unshakable spirit. Gilbert's net worth today also stands near $500,000, illustrating how public service and entertainment careers can both offer rewards and tough financial lessons. As for Lindsay and Sydney Greenbush, the adorable twins who shared the role of Carrie, their combined net worth is estimated between $1 million and $5 million. Though they largely stepped away from acting, the Greenbush sisters wisely managed their earnings, investing carefully to secure financial stability. And just like that, even decades later, the spirit of Little House, its laughter, heartbreak, and indelible characters, continues to ripple through time, carrying secrets, struggles, and dreams into every new generation of dreamers. And there you have bloopers, secrets, and shocking truths that even Little House fans didn't see coming. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping Hollywood stories. Stay tuned for the next surprise.